Cicero de Officiis, Episode 12. Et id quidem nemini video Graecorum ad huc contigisse, ut idem utroque in genera elaboraret sequereturque et illud forenza dicendi et hoc quietum disputandi genus. Nisi forte Demetrius Phalaris in hoc numero haberi potest, disputator subtilis orator parum vehemens, dulcis tamen ut Theophrasti discipulum possis agnoscere. In the previous episode, Cicero was talking about his advice to his son Cicero that he should study both the former's oratory and his philosophy, so that he can develop two different styles of speaking. And he says, in fact, or indeed, quidem, I see, video, and this will introduce oratio obliqua, I see that this has thus far happened to nobody of the Greeks, Graecorum. So this contigisse is a perfect infinitive from the verb contigo. It means to happen or to occur to someone, and as you can see, it takes the dative case. So we might say in a more smooth translation, and in fact I see that no one of the Greeks has yet attained this. And then the ut clause, the ut here through sequereturque, with lots of following modifications, explains what this id is, namely that the same person. Idem here is masculine, singular, and nominative. That the same person, utroque in genera, in both kinds of speaking, that's what utroque in genera means, worked at, elaboraret, and attained, and this elaboraret is from the verb lavoro. It is a first conjugation verb, used here in the imperfect subjunctive, and with the a it means to work at fully or thoroughly, both worked at and accomplished. And now we're going to get the objects of these verbs. Here's the objects, et, both illud forenza, both that public genus, forenza is an adjective modifying genus, both the public kind of speaking, dicendi, and this more reserved type, disputandi, of speaking. Now notice how this line, in fact, is put together. We have first the demonstrative adjective, illud, then another adjective, forenza, then a gerund. We have the conjunction et, then again another demonstrative adjective, then the adjective quietum, then a gerund, disputandi, and finally the noun that goes with each one of these adjectives. So none of the Greeks has achieved this, except perhaps Demetrius Phalaris. In this number can be considered, unless perhaps Demetrius Phalaris can be counted in this group of those who have achieved both kinds of public speaking. He was a disputator subtilis, a careful reasoner. He was an orator of perhaps not enough vehemens, not enough forcefulness. Nevertheless, tamen, he was pleasing or agreeable in his style. So what he lacked in his vehemens, he made up for in dulcis, the pleasing flow of his style. What is the consequence of this? Well, we now have an ut clause, so that, as a result, you could recognize possis, you could recognize him as a Theophrasti discipulum, as a student of Theophrastus. Theophrastus was the heir of Aristotle in the Lyceum, and he was the instructor or teacher of Demetrius Phalaris.